Hello there, one evening to you. Many thanks for staying tuned to Superscreen Television. This is Superscreen News at 6, broadcasting to you live from Lagos, Nigeria. I am Blessed Omonose. The Not Too Young to Run movement has called on members of the National Assembly to review its vote on the age qualification for Senate and governors. Convener of the movement, Samson Itodo, said the review should be in tandem with its initial proposal, which puts the age qualification for governor and senate at 30 years. The movement described the retention of the 35 years for both office as unfortunate and disappointing, urging the National Assembly to revisit its votes. Itodo said political parties should expedite action and assenting to electoral reform bills bounding on limiting campaign expenditure and cost of securing party nomination. He also called the Nigerian youth to exercise their power in the 2019 elections, not only as voters or campaign merchants, but as qualified electoral candidates. President Muhammadu Buhari has been commended for signing into law the Not Too Young to Run bill. Legal practitioner Onyekachi Obrani, who gave the commendation today in Lagos, also tasked Nigerians on the need to demand an official undertaking from aspirants vying for political office in 2019 elections. Speaking on the state of the nation, Ubani called on the federal government to give room for restructuring of Nigeria. According to him, the present structure in the country is faulty and is responsible for the nation's low pace of progress, urging them to consider the 2014 National Confab report under former President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan. Last track.
I commend this particular measure and the step that this government has taken with regards to that, because that is what we have found in other countries that are developing. They take time to build their leadership. They take time to groom their leadership, who takes over. And then when they do, they see that the country is moving at a very faster speed. But over time in this country, we have never in any way groomed our leadership. Anyone who has been there in the 60s, we keep on re-electing them and keep on recycling them, and we have not seen much improvement done in our governance as a result of this recycling of old people who have no new ideas of running governance. And so for people now to see down and say, look, we have a lot of young ones who are very patriotic, and they have the zeal, and they have the experience, and they have the knowledge. This is what we call not even computer age. We are now internet age. Under 1 second, any information you require in the world, you get it. So it's no longer jet age. We have passed that age. We are now in internet age. And that age is a very fast, so fast an age that you don't need now begin to wait for old men whose ideas are clearly a cake, are clearly not in consonance with running good governance in a modern society. Let Nigerians demand that any aspiring public officer should swear to a written affidavit on oath on how he will embark on restructuring Nigeria upon winning an assumption of office.
Legal practitioner Barrister Obrani speaking there. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, says youth participation in politics is pivotal to the nation's democratic process. Chairman of the Commission, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, who was represented by Professor Okechukwu Ibeanun, disclosed this as the 4th Abubakar Momo Memorial Lecture held in Abuja. Yakubu stressed the need for government to open up the political space for inclusiveness in politics and governance.
There is the need for the young people to know about voter registration, particularly with the current severe exercise that is going on. They need to know first-time voters and those who recently, turned 18. We also believe there should be a plan, or we should plan a new initiative which we would like to call Register to Vote in courts. Register to Vote Week in all secondary schools across the country. Based on the school calendar, schools can be asked really to undertake activities that will lead to the registration of senior students en masse. School communities will be asked to support this program with peer-led activities on democratic engagement. We also believe there is a need for INEC and in fact PEI Research Department really to carry out a study on youth registration, which basically is the first step in participating in 2019 general election.
Guest lecturer and former national president of the Academic Staff Union of University, HASU, Professor Umfrim Asisi Asiobi, stressed the need to sensitize and motivate youth to participate more in politics.
The Nigerian youth can remove the obstacles, and that is my point. They can remove the obstacles by themselves. They don't need anybody else to remove the obstacle for them. Actually, democracy is not what other people do for you. Democracy is what you do for yourself. It is not good governance. Good governance implies that somebody governs you and you merely react. What democracy means is that you actually govern yourself directly. If you look at it from the point of view of the principle of subsidiarity, subsidiarity means that it is best to begin to tackle problems at the lowest possible level, at the world level. So direct governance is possible at the world level. But when you are also choosing representatives, which is accommodated by the definition of democracy.
The theme of the memorial lecture is Youth Empowerment and Participation in 2019 General Elections. A former member of the House of Representatives, Okweyemi Bamidele, has reacted to the emergence of BC Agbeyemi as Kayode Fayemi's running mate for the July 14 governorship election in Ekiti State. In a statement issued by his media assistant, Ahmed Salami, in Ado-Ekiti, Bamidele described the former council boss as a popular politician who is consummate and receptive, adding that age is not a factor in politics but capability, experience and popularity. Bamidele also said Agbeyemi is a bridge between the old and young generation politicians in the state, saying his choice will further ensure victory for the All Progressive Congress APC on July the 14th. The Court of Appeal in Lagos State has discharged and acquitted a former Director General of the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, NIMESA, Patrick Akpobo Lokemi, who was charged with an alleged fraud of 2.6 billion naira. In a lead judgment today by Justice Nimpa, a three-man appellate court panel upheld the no-case submission filed by Akpobo Lokemi in response to the criminal charges. The appeal court overruled the decision of Justice Ibrahim Buba of the Federal High Court in Lagos, who on October 16, 2017, dismissed Akpobo Lokemi no-case submission. You will recall that the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, had on December 4, 2015, arraigned Akpobo Lokemi alongside 5 others for allegedly diverting 2.6 billion naira from the coffers of the Mensa between December 2013 and May 2015. The Nigerian police have invited candidates who passed the nationwide recruitment examination conducted on Friday by the Joint Administration and Matriculation Board, JAM, for medical screening. According to the list published on the Nigerian Police website, the candidates are expected to go for the screening at the Zonal Police Headquarters in the state of origin between May 31 and June 3rd. Report says out of the 37,000 candidates that wrote the examination, only 5,107 candidates were shortlisted for the medical screening. The Joint Health Sector Union, JOHESU, has called off its 43-day hold strike, directing its members to resume work on Monday. The directive was contained in a communique issued at the end of the National Executive Council meeting of JOHESU and member of the Healthcare Professional Associations in Abuja. The union said the strike is not political, but is based on the principle of fairness and justice. It, however, criticized the federal government for failing to honor its promise of increasing the salaries of health workers. In another development, President of the Nigerian Labour Congress (NLC), Ayuba Waba, says the Minister of Health, Isaac Adewale, has no right to deny the Joint Health Sector Union (JOESU) members their salaries. Waba said this while answering questions from journalists shortly after the union suspended its 6 weeks nationwide strike in Abuja. You will recall that the minister had earlier threatened not to pay the salaries of JOESU members for the number of days they went on strike. Waba said the minister has no final say on whether the workers will not be paid for the number of days the strike was on, as only President Muhammadu Buhari has the final authority on this regard. You're watching Superscreen News at 6. We'll take a short break at this point, and when we return, we'll bring you business news. Stay with us.
Before they come, they're supposed to, give us some information, notice, at least maybe a week or so. There was nothing like that.
Hunger is everywhere in Nigeria. People are dying every day, but Nigeria government are keeping quiet. Housemen are killing people. Why?
It's not what we expected because of these old men that are leading us, and you people know, you are aware that these people are not the right people to lead us. These kind of people that are leading us here are people of black mind. They just care about themselves and their family.
You are affecting my village. Let me use if I call it useless, I'm not to mistake. The other place where they build a shop, call it plaza. Each shop there are 4 million naira. So I don't have the money, so I have to leave. If you plan to get a tribal mark, it takes a lot of pain, but after some time, you enjoy it. No, we experience hold up now during the construction time. Then after some time, we start enjoying it.
The way they are doing the construction is too slow. It's too slow. The construction is too slow. They should stop the construction and make sure people go into their businesses and do their businesses.
Welcome back, and now to business news. The Senate has confirmed 4 out of the 5 nominees sent by President Muhammadu Buhari as non-executive directors of the Board of Central Bank of Nigeria to the National Assembly. Chairman of the Committee on Banking, Insurance and Other Financial Institutions, Senator Rafiu Ibrahim, said the committee has duly screened the nominees. Ibrahim noted that the committee was inundated with petition against the 5th nominees, Dr. Abdul Abubakar, saying he has not been cleared. In his remarks, Senate President Bukola Saraki charged the newly confirmed non-executive directors of the Board of Central Bank of Nigeria to work towards upliftment of the economy.
The Senate and the Committee of the Whole considered the report of the Committee on Banking, Insurance and Other Financial Institutions and on the screening of the Mr. President nominees for appointment as non-executive director for the Board of Central Bank of Nigeria, and approved the nomination of 1. Professor Umu Ahmed Jalingo, Professor Justina Indenachukwu, Professor Mike Obadan, and Adela Adetunji as non-executive director of the Board of Central Bank. Nomination of Mr. Abdul Abubakar referred to the committee for further legislative action. Is this a true reflection of what transpired in the Committee of the Whole?
Senate President Bukola Saraki speaking there. The Petroleum Industry Governance Bill, PIGP, has suffered a setback 2 months after it was passed by the National Assembly. The Senate referred the bill back to the Conference Committee on PIG to consider the fundamental issues raised by the Legal Department of the National Assembly, which recommended a fresh legislative action. Majority Leader Senator Ahmed Lawan moved a motion for the referral of the PIGB and the Climate Change Bill to the respective committee for review. Senate President Bukola Saraki put the prayer to voice note, and it was unanimously granted. He referred the bills to the committees, asking them to report back in 1 week. And still on business, the Minister of Budget and National Planning, Senator Udoma, says the Nigerians' economic outlook for 2018 and over the medium term is very positive. He said the government is rolling out initiatives such as economic recovery and growth plan focus labs aimed at attracting sufficient private sector investment to ensure that the country achieve the growth target of 7% by 2020. According to a statement by his media advisor, Akpandem James, the minister said though the present administration inherited a challenged economy, it has succeeded in turning the situation around as the economy is now out of recession and growing again. Malaysia has set up a fund for members of the public to donate cash to help the new government repay its hefty national debt. The Finance Ministry on Wednesday provided a bank account number for deposits to help curb the country's debt of 1 trillion ringgit, which amounts to 80% of GDP. The ministry said the fund will be called Malaysia Hope Fund and provided the name of a local bank and an account number for contributions, which it said must be made in cash denominated in the local currency. If you're just joining us, this is Superscreen News at 6. We'll take another short break, and when we return, we'll bring you other news. Join us again.